Pilots, welcome back to the channel. Today we've been tasked with a mission and we're going to fly it blind. The briefing is that the enemy insurgency has set up some kind of a roadblock. Let's go ahead and get our nose wheel steering turned on here, and we're going to start taxiing as we're talking here. That the enemy insurgents have set up some kind of a toll booth like outpost on the road to try to stop people from getting in and to kind of terrorize the public over there. And there's some kind of a makeshift FOB that they're building within 30 or 40 miles of our main base here. So there is a set of ground troops that are getting ready to assault that base, and our job is going to be to destroy and disperse all the enemy that are at this toll booth that's guarding the way into the area. And then we're going to aggress and destroy the enemy main building, and then provide material close air support to our forces as they assault that main base. And we are going to be the key to the start of this fight. So what we need to do is attack this toll with whatever weapon munitions we have to get it done quickly, and disperse it, and then move on to the main base and get a bomb on their main headquarters, wherever their leaders are, because that's going to start the ground assault. As soon as that bomb hits the ground, our ground forces are going to move in and start assaulting, and then we're just going to do whatever we have to help them. I don't really know what all is there. We're going to figure that out using our targeting pod and our brains. We do have a couple of waypoints. We've got a waypoint to the city right in front of us after we take off, which I assume is just the rally point, so that we'll use our time flying there to get up to altitude and get everything ready. And then we should have 2 GPS coordinates that are roughly close to wherever this outpost is on the road and wherever this hidden makeshift FOB is. And the weapons we have, we've got 2 CBU 105s, so we've got 2 GPS cluster munitions, smart cluster munitions. We've got 6 GBU 12 laser guided Mark 82 500-pound bombs, and we've got 6 AGM 65Ds, so those are the IR Seekerhead Mavericks. So they're the FLIR guided Mavericks. We also have 7 Predator rockets, APKWS. We've got our ECM pod, which I'm not sure what we're going up against, but I know we have air superior already, so we're going to switch this over to SAM-1 for now. And we've got 2 AIM-9 mics just in case. You never know if they've got some helicopter in a garage somewhere they're going to wheel out and try to shoot us. Alright, flaps to half, everything's good. Let's go ahead and turn this stuff on, get it warming up. Let's get our Mavericks turned on. Let them start warming up. And Savast is selected. Here we go. Where is Savast? There it is, right here in front of us. Okay. And it's 17 miles away, so we've got 17 miles to get up to altitude. I don't know exactly what altitude we should be at because I don't know exactly what we're dealing with, but we'll probably get up to about 17 miles. We'll get to about 10 or 11,000 feet probably. That'll be good, and we can change what we're going to do depending on what we see at the first waypoint. For all I know, there's 2 Shilkas and a bunch of Strela Shorads. I really don't know, so hopefully it's not that, but it could be. Alright, gear coming up. Let's get our Jehemics all set up. Get nose on to our waypoint and start climbing. Alright, flaps coming up. Let's see, IFF is on and on. We're also going to come over here to our TADs, or our TAD, and we are going to start broadcasting our SPI on the data link. That way everyone on our side, our base, they know exactly where I'm going, what I'm shooting at. And this is the exciting part, right? Just flying to the mission, not knowing exactly what the heck you're going to fight. Well, there they are right there. I can't tell which is which, but they're both pretty close, it looks like. So that's going to definitely change what we're going to do. So when we attack this toll booth, especially if it looks like they're pretty close, they're going to hear the bombs going off. Or the Mavericks, or the gun, or whatever I choose to use to assault this little outpost. The enemy's going to know that something's going on, and they're going to start doing stuff. So as soon as we aggress this outpost, we have a very limited time to get turned over to the enemy base and get a bomb on their main building. Or their main tent, or their main whatever it happens to be. We'll just have to kind of make a guess. But usually the main base is the most guarded one, and usually a little bit more fortified than what the barracks would be, or wherever the troops are staying are usually very cheap, and they don't matter as much to the leadership, so we'll just have to use our brain. And as soon as that bomb hits that headquarters, our ground troops should start coming out of the woodwork and starting their assault. They should be moving in right now, but they don't have anything turned on at the moment, and we don't have any kind of AWACS support. This is just a map that has nothing. It's just a map. No magic computer. Alright, we're halfway to 10,000, and we've got 6 miles to go. Need to speed up that ascent a little bit. And we did turn on the Mavericks, right? Yes, the Mavericks are on. Nothing worse than flying all the way out to where you're supposed to be, and there's some Shilka getting ready to light you up, or a Strela, and you turn your Mavericks over and you forgot to turn them on, so they got a 2.5-3 minute warm-up. Oh, there's our waypoint over Savast. 4 miles to go, and we are at 7,500 feet. Making good time. So we're close enough to Savast. We're basically at the rally point, but I'm not high enough yet, so I'm going to wait. But what I'm going to do is go ahead and cycle my waypoint over to the toll booth so I can see which is which. There we go. So the left is the toll booth, and that's really close. That's maybe a couple miles away. So they're definitely going to know when their toll booth's getting blown up. Which means I'm not going to want to use laser guided, because then I've got to hold the laser on the target. It means I have to fly a little bit closer than I want to be. So we're going to use the CBUs, possibly. We'll know once I've got the targeting pod on them and I can see what all is there, which we can start getting ready for that. And slaving to the outpost. There we go, we got the targeting pod on them. And that is high enough because we're through the cloud layer right there. And we're latched. Alright, here we go. We are 17 miles away, so we're going to go ahead and get nose on while there's a break in the clouds right here that we're in. And we're going to latch. I didn't see any SAMs right away, which is why I'm also turning in quickly. Alright, so that's like some kind of big gun right there. Maybe flak, maybe artillery piece. There's 2 of them. But it's definitely just a gun because they're not hot. So it's just a mechanical gun. It's probably an artillery piece or a flak gun. I see a lot of troops with a couple of guard towers and an outpost. I see a BTR. I'm not sure what this thing is right here. That might be a... Is that a Shilka? No. Okay, those are technicals. So there's a couple of trucks up there with big-ass AAA guns bolted in the back. And I'm not sure what this piece of armor is, but it looks like some kind of armored troop carrier, so it's not going to be heavy armor. A lot of troops. Okay, so we're going to mark a GPS right here. Right there, around that first tower. We're going to arm our CBU 105s, master arm on. So we're going to drop both of our CBU 105s on this outpost because it should blow up all of that armor and those technicals and kill most of those people and destroy most of their stuff in a single drop, and it'll be GPS, so I don't got to worry about it. and that'll allow us to quickly get our sensors over onto the enemy base once we verify that we hit the outpost and just dispersed all those troops. So that's the plan. Now we're going to stick to it. The only thing I'm really worried about is getting too close to those technicals, but I'm up here at almost 10,000 feet. We're at 9,500, so I could have gotten a little higher, but it's all right. We don't want to peel off to the right because the enemy FOB is right there to the right. So we're going to drop this stuff and come on break left and come back around. 20 seconds. We'll wait to drop just a few seconds to make sure the GPS bomb has a little bit of room to wiggle. If you drop it right when you're in the zone, it's kind of stretching the ability of the bomb to get there well without coming in too low. We're also going to put up a new GPS. And Pickle, one away, and we're going to put the next one right here. Pickle, 2 away, we're off left. Alright, we should have impact soon, unless I missed. It can happen. It's probably not going to happen, though. Oh, there we go. It was a BMD. Oh, that's great. Okay, perfect. Solid hits. Solid hits. That should be good. Okay, it's fun to watch, but we got to move on real quick here. So we're going to stand by our targeting pod, soy the HUD, rotate over to the FOB. There it is, right? Oh, I can see it with my eyeballs. I see a main building too. Perfect. All right, and slaving. Selecting a GBU-12 laser guided bomb, and we're going to make that headquarter building disappear. .8 miles. Yeah, we need to get a little bit more distance. Oh wow, they got some troops and some kind of armor up front. That's big armor right there. That's like a That's a T-55. Lots of BTRs, BMPs. That's definitely a bigger FOB than I expected, actually. That's definitely the main building. Alright, bomb selected. Master arm is on. We are rolling in. 5.7 miles away. So right now those people are probably wondering what the hell's going on. Maybe they're on the radios trying to reach whoever. They got no idea what's getting ready to happen. 15 seconds. So we're just going to wait for that little ball at the top to finish its timer and come on down. We'll hold down the pickle button as soon as it gets to about right here. We're holding the button. Bombs away.
Pull up, pull up.
And I'm going to turn on the laser right now. We are lasing, readjusting the laser. We're going to make this laser come right down in the middle of that building. And we're banking off left and keeping our targeting pod on the target so that we don't mask the laser. Oh, perfect hit. Good stuff. All right.
Pull up.
So that should be the signal. So now hell should be breaking loose down there. Let's see what we see. Laser off. Oh, there we go. I see shots already. So now we're supporting our troops, so we need to get on the move because we don't want any of our people to get injured or killed. Oh wow, there's a lot going on. Jeez. I'm almost afraid to look. There's some friendly troops right there. Oh, there's a lot going on. You can see machine guns and tank shot going on. Looks like we've already lost some of our... Yeah, I see our troops in the buildings now moving in, but we've already lost some tanks. They've already lost some tanks. Oh, nice shot. There's an ammo depot right there. We're going to drop a bomb right there. We want it to be asymmetrical here, although it should automatically switch from rack to rack when you're doing bombs. Yeah, that's some kind of a... It's either ammo or fuel. It doesn't really matter which. We're going to put a bomb on it either way. Then I do believe we might go ahead and grab our Mavericks and start hitting that front line. There was a lot of armor and tanks up there. We need to do a Maverick run and do our best to kill as much as that stuff because there's a hell of a battle going on down there. And we're holding down the pickle. Bombs away. Laser is on. Right into the middle of that thing. There's some dead troops there. Nice. Good hit, good hit. Laser off. Yeah, look at, see those tanks in those bunkers right there. That's dangerous. But we're going to drop our next bomb on whatever those are right there. Whoop. Doesn't matter. That's where the next bomb is going either way. Fuel. That's definitely fuel. So we're just going to put a Mark 82 right in the middle of them. Laser guided. Our boys look like they're doing pretty good down there, but it does look like we did lose a decent amount of stuff in that initial firefight. There was a lot of tanks at the front there. They might just be BT. Well, there was definitely one big tank. There's a big tank right there. You can see the engine heating up right there still. I see 2 tanks right there that are still alive, so we got to take care of those. We're going to drop this bomb, and then we're going to pull out and get a little bit of distance, and we're going to come back in with a full Maverick run and just try to destroy everything we can in a single pass. We got to silence those guns. Every minute that firefight's going on is bad stuff. I didn't think they were going to have that many tanks, to be quite honest, when it said, you know, it's an insurgent FOB, a makeshift. I was like, okay, so technicals and Grandpa's Nissan with a big gun bolted in the back, stuff like that. But there is some of that, but those look like T-55s, maybe even some 72s and some big old BTR-80s with auto guns, and there's a lot down there. And we're holding on the pickle. Bombs away. And we're lasing. See you later, sucker. Right in between the two. It's a 500-pound bomb right there. It'll pretty much take care of all that stuff. Looks like our tanks did a number on those hangars. Oh! Laser is off. Bombs are off. Switching to Mavericks. And we need some distance. We'll have to spot targets on the way in. We definitely need to get Mavericks on those hold down tanks. Looks like there's some kind of, I don't know if it's concrete walls or sandbags or a mixture of, it's probably a mixture of the two. Usually there's like some kind of a concrete barrier with sandbags piled on it, and that makes a really good stop actually. It's pretty defensive. Makes it hard to shoot a tank when it's just the turret popped up like that. $5 miles. We'll get turned back around once we pass 8 mile mark. Mavericks have an 8 mile range, so I want to get as many shots off as I can. Probably all 6. Mavericks are also very large. It doesn't look like it in movies sometimes, or for some reason people think like Hellfires and Mavericks are the same. They're similar, except a Hellfire is tiny. A Maverick is very large. There is a huge warhead on that thing. It'll blow up whatever you need it to blow up. So we're just going to spread some Mavericks around that base, and we're going to try to hit that front line as much as we can and pop that armor. Alright, we're 9 miles. We're rolling back. And let's get latched. Oh, I need to be a little bit higher, I think, to get a good angle here. We're just going to drastically climb for a second. We don't have enough speed to just shoot way up in the air. There we go. Oh, it looks like they killed one of those tanks I was looking at, so our armor is still getting work done. It's just probably hard to shoot through those barriers. Alright, Mavericks are up. Wait, no, that tank is still alive. Look at that right there. They did shoot the barrier down. That's probably a hit on the barrier. That's definitely on the barrier. Oh, that was it. Dang it. Alright, we'll come back. It's hard to get that barrier's in the way of a lot of those Maverick shots. Although it does look like the targeting pod is showing that that tank did get hit. Does look like it. Maybe we can get it from a different angle. How many Mavericks do I got left here? There's 2. We got 2 Mavericks left. We definitely don't get paid to bring munitions home. We're going to spend them in that front line and make sure that front line's gone. I do believe I did get that tank, possibly both of them. But you can see how hard it is to get a Maverick to actually snap on a target, even if you have your targeting pod on it. If there's a lot of other stuff that have an IR signature, it can be hard to get the exact contrast lock you're looking for. There's definitely still a tank alive there. Alright, slaving. I don't think that got it. That got it. That's a perfect Maverick. Let's latch and keep an eye on this Maverick and make sure. We might have to come back around with a bomb. Oh, that looked like a good hit. I see fire. I do believe that tank is done. Okay, I think the front line is pretty much melted now. There's a bunker right here that looks like a hard target. Does look like it's been hit a couple times, but let's go ahead and drop a bomb on it. Give me a second to get my trim reset. I don't see any SAMs around here. Going to switch to AAA just in case. We are getting lower altitude now. In the heat of battle, we're probably not going to get shot at too much with all those friendly tanks shooting at them still. But you never know. Alright, coming around for that bunker. Hopefully most of our troops are made it out. I know I saw a couple of our tanks burning. Hopefully everybody got out of those. Believe it or not, that's actually, yeah, that's a lot of tanks get destroyed, and a lot of times people do get out of the tank. Amazingly enough. It also depends on what you hit the tank with. Pickle. Bombs away.
Yeah, pull up, pull up.
And laser on. That's definitely some kind of a fortified bunker position. We'll see what happens when we put a bomb right through the top of it. Oh, came in a little low. It hit a wall. Good hit though. Well, there's a couple of buildings over there I want to hit with our bombs while we still have bombs. I'm not going to keep trying to hit that one bunker. We can put a 30 mil gun run on it. Let's put a bomb right in between these two buildings here. Those look like some kind of barrack buildings. Oh, that's why. I think I bumped my laser. It was shooting IR. So it was shooting an infrared beam for spotting, targeting, and ranging, which is cool. So if you're at nighttime and you put your nods on, you can shoot that IR laser and you'll be able to actually see this beam coming off the plane all the way to whatever you're pointing at. It's very cool. But I didn't need that. That's why that bomb hit early, because that just dropped. It never guided on the laser. Still hit real close though. Laser, everything's good. Okay, everything's good. Rolling in. Shows you how good the INS GPS and shooting computer are in this thing. We dumb dropped that GBU 12 and it still almost hit the target. Alright, holding down the pickle. Bombs away. Making sure the laser's on. The laser's on and we are lasing. We're latched. We want to hit right in between those things. Some kind of big tower right there too. Perfect hit. Yeah, right there. Some kind of big building right there. Let's go ahead and drop our last bomb on that building. 1 GBU 12 left. We're going to spend it. So we've been in the air now for roughly about 15 minutes. It seems like a long time, doesn't it? That's why people say when they're doing debriefings or they're telling stories later on when they get home, and they're like, you know, it felt like 2-hour firefight, but then when we were done, it was like 10 minutes. Stuff happens so fast, but when you're in the middle of it, it almost feels like everything slows down. Alright, we're rolling into this last target. Laser is still armed. I hate when I bump my controls and I wasn't paying attention. Holding down the pickle. Bombs away. We're latched. Lasers on. Whoop. We'll see this raw TV. No infrared. Nice. That's the stuff. Okay, this place looks pretty shacked out, I'm not gonna lie. It looks like we got the job done. Those tanks did a number too. I didn't drop any bombs over there, but those tanks got shot up, so our boys did real good. So we're probably going to go ahead and do a show of force on some of those structures. Let me get my trim set here. After dropping all that ordnance, we're going to be a little out of whack. Okay, that feels pretty good. Alright, we're coming in low al. We're looking for that bunker there. Although that bunker looks pretty shacked out already, but yeah, it is pretty much rubble. But let's go ahead and, in case there's anybody hiding in there, we're going to hit it with a whole bunch of depleted uranium 30 mil.
Pull up, pull up. Altitude, altitude.
Yeah, that base looks pretty much flat.
Pull up, pull up. Altitude, altitude.
I didn't even see any small arms fire, and it looks like our boys on the ground aren't shooting anymore. We're going to call that RTB. We're going to call that mission successful for sure. Let's get back on our TAD. And we're going to want home base. Home base is right over there. Mission successful. Bringing back a little bit of ammo, a couple of heaters, and our Predator rockets, which I usually bring Predator rockets almost every time because of the lightning pod, and I usually don't use the rockets unless I need to, because they're not the most effective things, but they're good ballast. So from the lightning pod, that full tube of Predator rockets kind of balances out the wing a bit. Alright, master arm off. Laser off, targeting pod off. I hope you enjoyed that little mission. I'm just happy it was successful, especially with all the guns that spawned there. I'm glad I was at 10,000 feet now. If we would have came up initially low trying to figure out what it was, or maybe tried to use bombs or Mavericks on that first point, by the time we got to the base, we might have got lit up. But that's why we played it safe. We can't support the troops on the ground very well if we're dead. Somebody told me that once. But we'll go ahead and fly back. We'll land. Call it successful. And we'll use a little bit of editing magic to get down to that landing. Alright, so there's our starting air base right there. We are coming in on the right here, and we're going to make a right-hand turn to go to final. Start pulling some power out. We're doing about 285 knots right now. And we're a little high, so we're going to go ahead and go to idle now, so we can start trading some altitude down without speeding up too much. And let's go ahead and get the boards out. So A-10s float really well. They're very, very, very floaty. You don't need a lot of speed. A lot of times, depending on the wind, the direction of the wind, and the strength, you can be landing your Warthog at anywhere between, like, I've landed at 98 knots before. I mean, it just all depends. Alright, we're down below 180 knots. We're going to bring the gear out and start bringing the flaps down. So our runway is right there. Actually, our waypoint line is basically pointing right to the runway. You can see we are on speed. So our AOA indexer. But we're coming in a little low now, and the flaps are going to change that. Flaps all the way down. So 125 knots roughly, and we're on speed.
Altitude, altitude.
We're a little out of time, so you can see our flight vector is a little low, so we're just going to increase the speed a little bit. And that's going to bring our flight vector up onto our landing point. That's basically it. We're no longer using the stick for anything but roll. We're just using the throttle to maintain our flight vector. Adding a little power, removing a little power, and adding. This is what it's like to land an aircraft. It's a lot of throttle work once you're trimmed on speed. And we're coming in nice and flat. Good glide slope. On speed, we're going to add a little bit of power now, add a little bit of a flare, and we're going to go idle, and we're just going to let her flow right on down. And that's how we do that. Nice and smooth, no big jolt. Use our rudders to stay straight on the runway here, and we go full aft stick. No brakes, just use full aft stick. We got the boards out. We're generating a lot of drag right now. And now that we're so slow, we're going to turn the nose wheel steering on. Just make sure when you turn on your nose wheel steering that you're not standing on a bunch of rudder when you do that. Now we'll go ahead and start using some brakes. We want to pull off the runway. And that was a very successful mission. We did support the troops as best we could. I wish we could have gotten some more damage on that front line where those tanks were, but we had to destroy their supplies and their main buildings first. So hopefully we did not lose too many troops, and hopefully we didn't lose too many assets. I know we did lose some assets. I just hope the crew made it out. Either way, though, successful mission. That enemy was obliterated. They will not be setting up a new FOB anywhere around there, that's for darn sure, because they got just obliterated. They weren't really ready for that, although they were getting close to being ready for it. That was a lot more heavy armor than I really expected. When you hear, you know, small insurgency makeshift FOB, you don't think, you know, T-72s and T-55s with BTRD 80s. You just don't think that. But they definitely had a lot of that. Alright, pilots. Well, I hope you enjoyed this mission. I'll probably make more videos like this in between when I'm doing tutorials, but I also stream full-time almost every single night for anywhere between 3 and 6 hours. So that's where you're going to find me on the Twitch channel for Nix1978, and I will see everybody in the next video.